I've grown weary of discussion and arguments.
Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations number 106. I had such a really wonderful time exploring Star Trek, the original series, but I have always wanted to examine one of the fan film series. So for that, I've chosen Star Trek Continues, and we'll be looking at that for a few weeks. Today we're going to look at the first episode, Pilgrim of Eternity, and also a few of the vignettes that they had, which are only a few minutes long each. And Star Trek Continues is a fan series by Mignogna, who first worked on other fan series, Phase 2 and Starship Farragut. And he brought together a whole bunch of really wonderful people to make this series. Of course, Star Trek Continues isn't really canon, but I've always wanted to take a look at it. If you haven't seen it before, you can see it on YouTube. There are only 11 episodes. We're going to look at the first episode and the 3 little vignette mini episodes today. So just so you guys know, I won't be grading these episodes, but if anyone on the panel wants to, they can. I just want to enjoy it as a fan love letter to Star Trek that it is. But if you want to, you can. I just want to say hello to the panel. First of all, to Admiral Shepard, who is here with us today, thanks to a bit of inclement weather.
Howdy, howdy. Commodore Productions here. What's up?
Yeah, and also, for the first time on this podcast today, I want to welcome Dan Leckie. And he reached out to me asking if I needed someone else to talk about the series, and I did. So I want to thank you, and I am actually meeting you for the first time, so I'd like to know a little more about you.
Hi, Joel, and hi, everyone. So I've got a Star Trek website. I'm the editor of and founder of called warpfactortrack.com. I'm also writing for the official Star Trek magazine that's called Star Trek Explorer. I have I studied Star Trek. I studied Star Trek at college level when it was taught academically in my home country of Scotland. So I've got a certificate in Star Trek studies, and also worked on the Star Trek Wiki Memory Alpha, and I have a podcast that I run with other people called Subspace Chatter. So yeah, thank you very much for having me, Joel.
You're welcome. That's an incredible resume. I don't think I've met anyone who studied Star Trek academically before. Mostly we're just casual here, so I'm really impressed by that. That is too cool. And also I want to welcome Scotty R37. He's here. You guys know him. Hello, how are you today?
Hi, everybody. You know what? I'm kind of humbled. I consider myself a Star Trek expert, but I've never met someone who had a certificate in Star Trek before. So I will absolutely shake your hand, sir, virtually. Thank you for letting me play, Jill. This is great. Hey, Jim.
Of course. And so for information about this series, of course, I have my wonderful panel, but also I'm looking at what is provided on the Star Trek Expanded Universe fandom site, because I couldn't find an official book or anything like that. So it'll be that, and also, of course, the StarTrekContinues.com website, which has a whole bunch of stuff on there, specifically a really cool little blog about stuff that was released while things were published. So that's neat.
I thought it's cool that I thought it's cool that the website about Star Trek Continues also offers like the scripts for each episode.
What does it offer for each episode?
The script.
Oh, the script. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Does it? I didn't see that. Okay, so I can use that next time. Because I looked somewhere else for the script. I didn't realize it was right there on the website. Thank you for telling me that. Also, welcome to the panel, Pleasant Valley Picker, CA.
Hi guys. Hi Jill. Hi,
as I understand it, you did watch this episode last night.
I did right. Give it a quick watch. Yeah.
So,
very good episode.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Production for these episodes began in 2012, and as shown in this episode today, the show was produced by Far From Home LLC and Dragon Gen Strategic Investments
Oh,
and Farragut Films. But later on, we'll see that the ownership shifts directly to Vic Mignogna, and we'll see how that develops.
what's it called? Dragon Sea? The name of the production company? I'm sorry.
It says Draco Gen.
Draco Gen, that was my first introduction to Vic Mignogna, was when he was on Nuka Break, which was a Fallout fan series, and it had Michelle Specht as well, and it was so it's an interesting online fan film production company. It's great.
Very cool. Yes, we'll see Michelle in this episode. She's playing the very first counselor for the Enterprise.
Foxy.
And yeah, she is. But I also want to say hello to the chat before we get started. Hello to Edge of Time. Hello.
Hail.
And the cast was soft-spoken, as if mic technology had improved and they didn't need to project, robbing it of conviction. Still better than I expected. Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective, because yes, a lot of in TOS it's like a stage play where they have to project their voices just as if they were if you were watching them in the theater. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Thank you, Edge of Time.
Interesting.
And so Edge of Time is here. Also FKHC 2005. Hello. Also hello, Franco Walker.
Franco,
there was an
that's how you pronounce it phonetically, Fakak.
All right. There's a question by Edge of Time for the chat. We must prioritize here at the Edge of Time. What's more important, consistent bedtime or consistent 8 hours of sleep?
Bedtime.
Yeah.
Gotta have a schedule.
Yeah, if you don't get the bedtime, you're not going to get the sleep, because you're going to wake up when you have to in the morning, no matter what. So I agree.
How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Well, that's if you're an omnivore, and like I am, and yes.
Yeah.
I think both are potentially spoiled if you have too many tribbles.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Hey,
the tribble wants his pudding before his meat.
There's a Klingon about.
All right. Also, Keith E is here.
Hey, Keith.
Hello to Keith E, and hello to Tiger Stripes, who just finished watching Pilgrim of Eternity. That's so cool. Two admirals on the panel. Yes.
Oh, no, I'm just wearing the uniform.
How does it end? You said you watched the episode.
I've seen it. Not recently.
You've seen it. Okay.
I said I was going to leave before spoilers.
Oh, well, you can leave anytime you want. Just let me know, so it's not weird.
Yeah. No, it's already weird. Let's keep going.
All right. Well,
the question is, what admiral's better looking up here?
You. It's not even a question, yo.
Oh, Scotty, thank you.
There you go. Question solved immediately.
Oh, this is so rad. The introduction of the holodeck.
Well, yeah, it's the introduction to the holodeck. And yes, that's right. But before we get into that, I want to mention what became of the sets for Star Trek Continues, because they were owned by Vic, and then the ownership was transferred to Stage 9 Studios. I guess so other fan films can use them, right?
So this isn't the set from Tayanaga, New York. This isn't, or Atlanta.
No, this is Georgia. This is Georgia.
So this is Georgia. Okay. I thought that those were Mr. Colley's, the other guy from Star Trek New Voyages. I thought that he was the one who invested so much in the sets. He was an Elvis interpreter, or tribute artist, I suppose they call them. You don't want to say an Elvis impersonator. They get very uppity about that. But I thought these were the same sets. Am I mistaken?
All I know is that this was built in Georgia. Did he come down and build it in Georgia?
Well, I'm not 100% sure.
All I know is that I'm just happy whoever built it. I'm happy they didn't tear it down. I'm gonna put a bookmark in that to see who precisely built all of these sets. The only set notes I have today, I have to admit, is from when they were building the engine room. So we have the engine room here. And so let's see who built this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is a stage 9 in South Georgia. And they removed the walls of a building that used to be a church. And so this is how they built the engine room.
For a different kind of church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a different kind of church.
Big shout out to Suzanne and X9.
And
hey,
it was, of course, this entire thing was funded by the fans, which is what makes Star Trek Continues really special, is that it was all funded by Kickstarter. Mostly. I'm not sure all of the financials, but definitely it would not have happened without the fans. And so there's some, it doesn't say precisely who was building this. Will Smith?
It was Will Smith.
Obviously not that Will Smith.
He smacked it into existence.
But I thought, watching the episode, I thought, the first episode, I thought like the financials are sort of important in universe, like ever since the first shot, because like the very first shot has the bank in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the production value on this web series is through the roof.
Like, well, yeah, this episode, yes.
Well, not just this episode, because obviously they use this throughout the. I hate to contradict you, Jill, but like throughout this series, they do like a lot of the believability of this show is through the sets. I think it very faithful, very great. Much love.
If you want names for who made this series, it says that it's Vic Mignogna, Lisa Hansel, and James Kerwin. And of course, they decided they wanted to complete the 5-year mission started by Star Trek the Animated Series, but also obviously by the original series. Excuse me, but also by the animated series, since as we see today, the holodeck from Practical Joker is here.
I thought the red backdrop and stuff was very much like Spectre of the Gun. Then also, like, I watched the episode and then looked up the cast afterwards. I had no idea that this guy is Doug Drexler.
This is Doug Drexler.
Yeah.
See, that was the big question that I was going to have for the panel, because I was wondering where Doug Drexler was, because I saw his name in the credits as Paladin, and I was like, who's Paladin? Where's Doug Drexler? This is Doug Drexler. Thank you. You answered my question before I even asked it. You are a scholar.
And then also, I read the script of this scene. It included like a character, Scotty comes in thereafter, and like the script includes another character called Drake who doesn't appear in the scene, so he was written out.
Well, and also,
wow,
Paladin is a not so subtle reference to Have Gun Will Travel.
Yeah, I was just
which
going to
is
say that.
rad.
I find that quite that's quite charming and quite funny. Actually, it kind of gave me a chuckle when you read out it was he was listed as Paladin, because I thought that's a nice little nod to that 50s Western series, which was a really good show and a great character too.
Oh, okay.
Yep, sure was.
Pilgrim of Eternity first aired on May 24th, 2013. It has story and teleplay credits, and first of all, that is cool, because in modern times it's cool that they keep up with the tradition of having those two things. The story is by Vic Mignogna and Jack Marshall, and the teleplay is by Steve Fratt and Jack Trevino. And of course, the big deal about this episode is that we get Michael Forrest reprising his role as Apollo. So this episode serves as a sequel to Who Mourns for Adonis or Adonias, however you want to pronounce it. And this is really fun because we see something never seen on TOS, but in the animated series, which is, of course, the functioning holodeck, originally conceived by Gene Roddenberry after he took a tour of Gene Dolgoff's holography laboratory in New York City. And Gene really wanted to include this in the original series, but the budget didn't allow for it. So we just saw a cowboy holding up Captain Kirk when we hear Scotty say freeze program. And I think it would be kind of fun to explore the evolution of holodeck technology and somehow see it to be more primitive somehow than the one we see in TNG.
Captain, I'm pretty sure that this won't cause some sort of, I don't know, social inequity. Somebody who will retreat into the depths of hollow technology just to escape the doldrums of everyday life. That'll never happen, Captain.
You're not talking about Barkley, are you?
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm talking about Barkley.
Yeah.
Broccoli?
Obviously, yes.
Broccoli?
I think the first, like chronologically, the earliest sighting of holodeck or holographic technologies with the Zerillians in Enterprise's Encounter, the episode where Chip gets pregnant.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. In timeline wise, you're correct.
Yeah.
But that's not an Enterprise holodeck. That's from a different alien species who has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I didn't know I was going to get pregnant. I just stuck my hands in some sand.
You have to be careful what mysterious space rocks you're interacting with.
Yeah, I suppose. I didn't know.
Get your hands out of her, Scotty.
My nipples are very sensitive.
Oh my god.
Well, no, that's from the movie Junior, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what, Scotty? You were supposed to go see him today. What happened?
Well, okay, so a little context. There is, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a television series on Netflix, or I guess a Netflix series. Anyway, he is filming approximately an hour away from me. So he is within my own time zone. That is something that I very greatly appreciate. I can feel his energy. It's part of the reason why I'm here. But I thought about it. I was going to go and drive to where he was filming and then take my copy of Last Action Hero and see if he could sign it. And then I realized that it would suck. Like, imagine if I were Arnold Schwarzenegger and I was in Ontario on a rainy, drizzly, gray day, and then some idiot showed up and said, "Can you sign this?" I was like, do I want to be that guy? And the answer was no. I'm happy just to know that at this point in time, he is approximately 50 kilometers away from me, and it makes my heart swell. So I didn't go because I didn't want to hassle him. I didn't want to bother the man who was working, that godly Austrian. I do adore Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thank you so much, guys. I was curious about that. Thank you. Well, I'm sure he'll have a good day. Gavin Blackburn, hello to Gavin Blackburn, and thank you, Franco Walker, for putting the link to the Star Trek Continues YouTube page here. If anybody wants to watch the episodes, there they are, and there's a lot of cool background information videos there too, which we may take a look at a few of them if we have time later. And Franco also says to please subscribe and hit the bell, share, like, and select live chat. Yeah, if you don't select live chat, you might be missing out on some. And hello to Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who. Man, this name keeps getting longer. Hello,
Matt G.
Matt G. Yeah. And also, I want to make sure I don't miss out on saying hello to Suzanne Eckstein, and let's see, Let me fix something real quick. Okay.
Hey, Suzanne.
Suzanne, hello.
No, Suzanne.
Franco says PvP's mic's quiet. Don't do anything to your mic, PvP. I think the problem was on my end, and I think I fixed it.
Oh, okay. I didn't even notice. So I'm
Yeah,
just here.
well, Franco did.
I'm just here drinking my morning tea.
So
So I have muting at times too because I
Hey,
don't want to hear you guys.
I want to say
slurping.
a special hello to Canadian Spider-Man because he's going to be having a special birthday stream tonight, and so that's going to be cool.
I refuse to believe that Canadian Spider-Man was born. He is timeless and a handsome devil.
Anyway, Kirk's fun was interrupted because several power stations have gone offline and they've arrived at the scene. And so Scotty jokes that it could be the Klingons, which is already showing a little bit of some interesting interactions with the characters.
So
and that's when
Chris Doohan.
Yes, that's Chris Doohan. That's James Doohan's son, who of course played Montgomery Scott in the real original series.
It is
But
a
that's
lot of fun having Chris Doohan in this show. Like, he does a great Scotty too. I mean, he's really great.
And he also appears.
Sorry.
He also appears in the Calvin films as a transporter operator.
Oh. And
also,
that's
when it comes to Doohan's, he has more fingers than the last one. So
they don't have to. They don't have to be careful with those camera shots, eh, Scotty?
You know what? Okay, you're right. That's correct. I'd never even think about it though. James Doohan was so good at hiding that. I didn't really ever notice it ever.
He was terrible at playing Xbox.
There's only one or two scenes in the original series where we get a glimpse of his missing finger, don't we? Like,
I think
for a split second kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think 2 episodes and in Star Trek V when he's ripping open the rations that Uhura brings in.
Well, but that's also when the power starts to drain from the Enterprise too. And then we see a thing on the view screen. So let's catch up to that point.
Yeah, no.
Oh, right. Thank you for the music.
Is it okay if I ask a question?
Of course. Please
like
do.
my head canon for Star Trek Continues is it's in a parallel universe than the original series. Do you prefer to think of it that way, or do you think of it as a continuation, it being called Star Trek Continues?
Well, you mean it's in a separate universe?
Yeah,
it has to be in a separate universe because none of these people are the people we know. So yes. But story-wise, I like to think of it as what we might have seen if it did continue with our original characters.
Well,
so I guess maybe both.
If I may answer as well.
What do you? Yes, everybody can answer. You answer next, and then we'll see what PvP and Jim think.
Okay. So I kind of put this in the same category as the animated series and the Star Trek novels, The Lost Years. Spoilers for this entire series, but at the end, the reason that I'm wearing my Federation whites is because at the end, there is a transition with Vic going from the Gold Command to the White Admiral and uniform. And so it's kind of like the Lost Years in the animated series. I see this as being as close to beta canon as you get.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And what do you think, PvP? How do you place this?
I agree with Scotty. Like, for me, it is literally Star Trek Continues. I mean, for me, coming off of the animated series, and I mean, they work so hard at replicating everything. I mean, the sets are amazing. The cast is generally, very, very good to excellent, I would say. The stories are well written. And I mean, like, getting back some of the actors from the original series, like in this episode, it's quite frankly quite amazing to see it. It's just so wonderful. And then, as Scotty mentioned, it does lead. I haven't watched that last episode yet, but I'll take Scotty's word for it that it does lead into the motion picture, in that sense. So to me, it's just like a bridge series between what was originally, made, like, the actual studio canon, on TV, to the films series starting in 1979. So to me, it is literally a bridge, and it does I think continuous is a very apt name, because to me it is real Trek. It is canon to me, because I just think they do such a good job, and they have such a love and respect for the original material, that I just if it isn't an alternate universe, I don't have a problem with that, but I prefer to think of it as the same universe, because we do get characters like Apollo coming back into it. So to me, that suggests it is taking place in the same universe. But that's just my outlook on it.
I like that answer. I think that works for me too. Also, Jim, what do you think?
Oh, definitely works for me. I mean, those two took the words right out of my mouth. This is Star Trek Continues, the continuation of season 4 or 5. I would put it as season 5, because it does lead us up to the motion picture. To me, it's all canon. The ship's perfect. The uniforms are perfect. Everything's perfect. So it's canon to me, and I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah, the costumes are apparently done by Novos,
Uh-huh.
which we all know is the most fanciest place you can get your costumes from.
Yep.
So
Yep. Everything's perfect.
Cool.
So they have this thing here that you don't know if it's organic or mechanical.
Yeah.
I guess it's some kind of ship, and we don't know who was on it. Were there more gods on it? Were there people on it? Or
It's
was
described
this the realm that they're talking about later?
Yeah, it's the realm. It's described in the script as an anomaly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an anomaly, because they don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
Can I get something out of the way real quick?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Todd Haberkorn is a terrible Spock. I do not enjoy his presence. And in this particular pilot, if you will, he is underwritten, underperforming. I don't know why he's here. I know he's a very prolific voice actor, and I don't want to denigrate him personally, but as Spock, not my favorite out of all the people that I've seen.
It's really difficult to play a good Vulcan, and I don't know if it's going to improve as we keep watching.
I do have to rewatch the Mirror Universe of Star Trek Continues. I forget what it's called, but there is a Mirror Universe one where he plays Mirror Spock. The spotlight is on him, but rewatching the first half of this episode, and even my recollections of this series, I do not like Todd Haberkorn.
I think the Mirror Universe one, I think is better, though. I think he's better in that one. That's one of the few that I actually have watched, and I watched it with my cousin, because we watched the original Mirror, because I was over there, I guess, at Christmas. So watched Mirror, and then we watched the continuous sequel, if you will, to Mirror, and we enjoyed both of them. Of course, my cousin had never seen this show, and he thought it was really, really good. So he seemed to enjoy it. I think his performance is better in that episode, though. Maybe he kind of grows into the character. I'm kind of thinking, because I haven't seen a lot of them yet, but yeah.
Well, am I being harsh?
I would hope that he improves, but you're not being harsh. The poll has him listed, and no one has chosen him. But also Tiger Stripes says that it's imbalanced because Chris Doohan is James Doohan's son, so he has an unfair advantage. But it's true. But he does a really great job, of course.
But the thing is that when I see Chris Doohan, I don't see Scotty. I see Chris Doohan.
But I hear Scotty. His voice. He's got his dad's talent for using his voice.
Is he Canadian? Is Chris Doohan Canadian, or was he born in the United States? I don't know.
Question. I don't know either. I know eventually
I'll look it up.
Doohan made it to the United States and was traveling around in Winnebago, but I don't know if he became an American. Did he? Did he get citizenship for America?
No, he says it says on his Wikipedia that he is a Canadian actor.
Okay, he's Canadian.
He's
There you
also a twin. I didn't know he was a
Oh,
twin.
wow. Interesting.
I know.
Oh,
I wonder if he's the evil one. That's how it works.
I don't think all twins are just like one evil and one good one. Are they?
Star Trek lied to me. What about lore and data?
They were programmed differently.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
Jack Stafford says, I would say it's canon considering Star Trek 3. We consider Star Trek 3 canon, even though Saavik was recast. So these roles being properly recast and using screen accurate sets and uniforms, a great case for beta canon. Yeah, beta canon, definitely. Yes, Dan? Oh, I thought you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
I'm disagreeing.
Oh, it was Jim. I thought you were Jim.
I said, yep.
All right.
Yeah, by the way, I won't
there
be
you
able
go.
to stay much longer because I got to get ready for work in 25
Well,
minutes, guys. So
And Wes Cagle says, I like to think of it as a continuation of TOS and TS. Yes, understood, PvP. Let me know when you got to go if there's
Yeah,
anything that you didn't get to
probably,
say that you want to
in,
say.
yeah, probably in about five minutes or so because I've been having some problems logging into my work computer lately, which is a pain. So I want to give myself a little extra cushion of time, you know, because
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, before you go, I want you to be able to give your final thoughts about the episode or anything you wanted to mention that you wouldn't be able to mention because you'll be gone. And anything you want to share.
Yeah, maybe I should just do that now, and then I can just pop off when I need to.
Exactly. Go for it.
I really like Vic as Kirk. I think he's a really solid Kirk. Like, I actually voted for him in the poll because, I mean, as much as I wanted to vote for Scotty, you know, being Doohan's actual son, it's like, okay, it's no wonder he looks like Scotty quite a bit, and no wonder that he's got the voice because, you know, he's actually the actor's son. So I kind of went with Vic as, you know, because he was like at least my second choice anyway after Scotty, and I just think he's kind of got that confidence, that intelligence.
Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah, he's got like the subtlety.
I always wanted to examine.
Mike, go ahead. What? You were saying something, Joe? Hello?
No, I wasn't. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think he's got Shatner's version of Kirk pretty well, you know, figured out because he's got the confidence, he's got a bit of the swagger, you know, self-assured. He's like in control. You know, he's good, you know, at taking you know, thoughts from the crew. That's another thing I like about this series is the interaction of the actors. It's generally, from the few episodes I've seen, it seems like it's very well written that way. So yeah, I put him as my top. Though I think the fellow that plays Scotty, I mean, you know, Imahara. God, I'm probably killing his name. Sulu, he's really good, I thought. You know, the fellow playing the Vulcan, yeah, he's probably one of the weaker ones. For me, though, the one actor that doesn't convince me is the fellow playing McCoy. When I was watching that last
Larry
night,
Nemeczek?
Like, I just could not see
Really?
him as McCoy. I just couldn't. It just every time he was in the scene, it kind of took me out of the episode a little bit. But maybe
what you're saying.
Maybe he'll grow on me as I watch more of these over the coming weeks. But overall, though, I think it's an excellent series. And
I know what you're saying, but I could tell that he's trying. It's just and he has the heart.
Yeah,
so that's what more do you need from McCoy than some heart? So
I just
at least
think
he's got
maybe he didn't quite have the mannerisms down yet, because, you know, McCoy has a very clear set of mannerisms and characteristics in the original show, right? So I don't think he'd quite figured it out exactly, you know.
Well, and throughout the series, it's going to bounce back and forth between McCoys. This is not the only McCoy that you will get.
Okay,
I don't know if this is the real. It's not the real McCoy, but they're
the real McCoy.
Yeah.
Well, also,
We'll
like in reality, like I'm friends with Larry, and like he loves the character of McCoy. He's gone to like Halloween dress up parties and stuff as McCoy and stuff like that. So he's got a great passion for the character of McCoy.
That's cool. Oh, by the way, I have to mention Uhura. Like, I thought the lady playing Uhura was pretty darn good in the character too. And like, and she's actually attractive, like the original Uhura, right? Not like some of the later
Well,
Uhuras
yeah,
and
her name
other
is
things.
Kim Stinger,
Yeah.
or is it? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but yes, I agree. Of course, nobody can be Nichelle because Nichelle is a goddess, but
Yes.
Kim
Right.
Stinger, she's beautiful, and they found somebody who's charming, and I'm glad that they found someone who could also sing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I thought it was cool that they included the singing.
The charming negress.
As you
But why
say,
should I object to that term, sir? You see, in our century, we've learned not to fear words.
Sorry.
Anyway, I think I better pop out, Jill. Sorry, I have to leave so soon, but I just wanted to come on and say I thought you doing this show, literally continuing on with Star Trek, was a good choice. I think it's going to be a lot of fun over the next few months as you go through all the episodes, and I may pop on some weeks when I'm able to. I'm not sure yet. My work schedule changed this week, but
Oh, okay.
just
Just let me know later in my
Sure.
DM. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, PvP. And when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about. Yeah, right.
I'll head out. So anyway, nice.
Oh, you're gonna leave right now?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I better.
Okay. See
I
you
usually
later,
would hang
PvP.
around for
Thank you
another
so
10
much.
minutes, but this darn login on my computer is kind of
Mhm.
driving me crazy. So
Mhm.
Okay.
I
Good
better
luck with
yeah.
that. And I
Yep,
hope you
thank
have
you.
a good time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice chatting with everyone, and we'll see you guys again sometime soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
See you next time.
yeah,
Thanks for hanging.
have fun. Have fun. Bye.
Sorry for those clips interrupting, but I did leave those clips lying around, so it makes sense my co-host would want to click on them. And that is my second favorite Uhura quote, is from her very last appearance on the original series from the Savage Curtain. But you were going to say something about Kim. Were you going to say something about Kim?
I thought it was cool that not only did it include singing, but that her voice like stands up to that she's actually able to do a good vocal performance when she does sing.
Yeah, definitely. And it was important that she be able to sing naturally, and it works really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I would understand if they had to dub it, but I'm glad they didn't have to.
Yep.
It's very clear that that's her.
Yep.
Like, look at that
So-
background as well, just in terms of the console.
Mhm.
Like, you have to give so much credit to the set design.
It's
and
gorgeous.
it's immersive. Like, this show is immersive. Even once you get past the casting of everything. And I think that they all, except for Todd Haberkorn, F you, Todd Haberkorn. No, but like, I think that once you get past the speed bumps of enjoying this, it feels and looks exactly the way I want a fourth season of Star Trek to look.
I want to highlight Wes Cagel's membership chat. He used his 6-month membership chat to say, just realized that now 3.1415926535893238462. Yes, of course. And he means that he's pi. And by that he means that he's got a membership badge corresponding to pi. Of course, my channel name is Anti-Derivative Jill, so my badges are math oriented. And
What's
he's
the
got
square
up to
root
pi.
of 12?
The square root of 12 is not a whole number, so that is a difficult one.
No. What's the square root of 37?
It's 3 something.
All
So
right.
The square root of what?
37.
Oh. 6 something.
Okay, sounds right.
I don't know like the decimals or anything, but
No, that's fine. That's fine. Someone else brought up decimals. I just thought I'd do some math problems and see what people came up with.
Talking about the sets, it just occurred to me that maybe it helped that Doug Jackson was working on the show.
Yes,
He obviously
absolutely.
knows what he's doing with all that.
He knows how to make Star Trek look like Star Trek for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing. I'm so glad that he worked on this. But also, I have to highlight Point Curation, who sent a super sticker. Wow, what super sticker did you send? It is a little pair that's saying, "Hey, you." See that? The little pair. For whatever reason, StreamYard doesn't transfer the super sticker animations. Franco agrees the sets are spot on. The attention to detail is astounding, but we need a clip to play for Point Curation when people send a super chat. I gotta play a clip. So let's play something.
All I ask is tall ship. Star to steer by.
Please, Spock, do me a favor. And don't say it's fascinating.
No. But it is interesting.
There.
You do have a ridiculous amount of echo and reverb going on with your clips.
Yeah, I noticed.
Oh shoot. Oh,
I'm glad you said shoot.
All I ask is a tall ship. And a star to steer by.
Please, Spock, do me a favor. And don't say it's fascinating. No. But it is interesting.
Perfect.
Oh,
Fixed.
okay.
It sure is interesting.
Was that in my intro too?
Oh yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's fixed. So
Oh,
everybody,
no.
don't forget to like and subscribe, share this, and then tell people in the comments. This is when it gets good. At 42 minutes.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry about that. The reason why I put sound for my screen, usually I just turn the sound off, is because I might show videos, but I forgot to mute it. That's the thing about streaming with StreamYard. Anyway, you've got to mute your screen before you share clips.
I thought this particular scene that you've got the screen cap from was really pretty interesting, because in the script it says something like all hands or all decks, red alert, all hands or all decks, battle stations, this is not a drill. But like playing the episodes at the same time, it seems like from what I could make out, all she says is all decks or all decks, this is not a drill. And I'm like, are they supposed to know what they're doing at that point? It seems strange to me.
Well, at that point, they're trying to alert everybody on the ship that it's not a drill to be on red alert status.
Mm-hmm.
And that's through the whole series of the original series as well. I think we're alone.
I can't remember like what you hear looks like by the end of the third season. Does it match, would you say?
Say that again.
I don't remember like what Uhura's hairstyle is like by the end of the third season of TOS. Would you say it matches?
Oh no, it doesn't. In the third season of
No.
TOS, Uhura's hair is taller.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same all season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is more earlier. I guess she goes back, but Uhura can change her hair however she wants.
Yeah, sure.
We're not worried about it.
Good point.
But
And she does early, and in earlier seasons of TOS as well.
well, the thing is, I think Vic Mignogna does a good Captain Kirk. I think his voice is a little higher, but I think he captures the spirit pretty well.
He sure does.
I think the same thing basically about the guy playing Sulu.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
No, he's good.
And there you go.
And of course, the guy that plays Chekhov, he's pretty much got that down.
Yeah. And okay, and the ship looks great. They do a good job with that too. Do they have their own model? I need to look more into the production of this. They should, right?
Yeah. Or it might have been a CGI model ship, or
Yes.
computer.
Okay, I did get a shot of Sulu here. So Grant Imahara as Sulu. First of all, want to make sure, like as mentioned in the chat, rest in peace to Grant Imahara.
Mhm.
I loved him on Mythbusters, and I think he brings a lot of energy to this.
He does.
And so after they destroy the object, there's a bright light on the bridge. And I guess they're also worried that they might have hurt somebody because they had to destroy it because it was draining power, and they were about to lose life support because they were having to redirect all of the remaining energy to that system. So they had to get rid of it. And we're coming up on the teaser finally.
Is the realm supposed to be alive or something like that? Because I know, like, I watched, like, McCoy says a line, about I hate to endanger life or whatever.
Yes, but they don't really confirm who was on the ship. They just see some faint life readings.
Yeah, and then Apollo says later.
Yes, and Apollo reveals that there were other gods there that were trapped, that were imprisoned in that object that was supposed to give them life forever. They were supposed to have eternal life or something, right? And so it was supposed to be a way to give them energy to be on this thing. It was supposed to give them some energy to live so that they wouldn't have to consume the worship of mortals.
Yeah.
It just didn't work out somehow. And so I guess that's who was on the ship were the gods. But there it is, the explosion.
Boom.
Good. Don't tempt me with your green glow.
Yeah, I seen that.
Keithy says Grant was a fantastic scientist and technologist. Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Then you see the light.
And Tiger Stripes, you haven't seen Mythbusters? It's so good. You should see it sometime. But she knows that Grant was greatly loved and he must have been a good man. And here's
when you see Apollo when he comes on the bridge, I read something like the Athena that comes with him is his wife, and the actor's wife, Michael Forrest's wife in reality, or something like that.
Oh, for real? Okay, so Michael Forrest's wife is playing Athena?
Yeah.
That is too cool. Actually, I didn't pick up on that one. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also thought it's cool that you get like Scotty's referenced in the credits. And then I thought like the title of the episode, Pilgrim of Eternity, was really quite thought provoking. I thought it's good to see Apollo return. It's like this follow up to a TOS episodes in particular was a good way to start Star Trek Continues. And it includes music from Who Mourns for Adonais. I thought that was good touch too.
Yeah, the music on this show is really, really great. They do use music from the original series, and they're able to manipulate it and cut it to make it seem really natural, like it's a real episode. And so, okay, so then we lose Athena. Athena lays dying. She disappears and she's gone, except for this brooch. And Uhura picks it up.
And also, I wondered, like, when I did some research, I was wondering, like, in Star Trek, when the idea of like an omnipotent being dying has been done, and I realized, well, it's a core feature to like the premise of Star Trek Voyager. Then at the start of the original series, you've got like Gary Mitchell, who's basically like becoming a god, and he dies. So it seems like the concept's pretty central too. And then obviously remembering like Hugh saying that he's dying in the second season of Star Trek Picard.
I wouldn't have even thought about the caretaker, but that is a good point. From Voyager, and that is you could say it's a bit of a theme. I don't actually talk too much about Star Trek after 2005, but if you like it, that is cool. Point Curation says no, it's panels. I have some on Imgur. Oh, I guess I just started reading that without seeing what it was. But I think Point Curation is talking about his art. He's got some art that he does, and I want to thank him again for that super chat earlier. James Caserta says Jill fell asleep. No, I'm not asleep. I'm awake, I promise.
She did? Oh, okay. I must have missed that one.
Beeger madness. It's infectious.
Boy.
But I guess parts of the ship or whatever it was, the realm, is causing some problems with the Enterprise too. So I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of a way to have a bit of a threat to the ship while not separating it from the main plot. Because it's part of the main plot. It just happens to be something that exploded and is causing issues. And they got it.
It's sticking to the hull of the ship, and of course later on we'll see how they try to get rid of it.
Oh yeah, and that's really cool too.
I thought it's a cool opportunity to feature like one of the actors from the Battlestar Galactica reboot.
Oh yeah, the 2005 Battlestar Galactica, that guy. Yeah. I forget his name. Let's see, where was that? I have that in my notes too, but it's a little further. That's Simone. In this episode, his character name is Simone, and he's played by Jamie Bamber, who plays Lee Adama on Battlestar Galactica 2005 series.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool. You're right. And Sulu has an idea to match frequencies with the phasers to get rid of this gunk on the ship.
Gunk?
I don't know what to call it. It's stuff. They don't ever actually. Do they actually ever say what it is, Jim?
I don't think they do. It's just particles from the explosion are sticking to the ship, and it's causing certain problems with the ship, and they got to figure out how to get rid of it.
All we know is that the ship's not going anywhere until they figure it out. That's all we need to know, I guess. And sometimes that's okay when they decide to not explain absolutely everything. At least we know some of it. I wouldn't have mind knowing what it's made of, though. Hey, Dan W. Hello, Dan W. How are you doing? Okay.
We haven't spoken
Nerds.
We haven't spoken about this element yet, but another part that, like we've talked about, some elements that were really good, sort of crossing over between the original series and continues, including like the sets and costumes and stuff. One element that I thought of that really impressed me was the use of sound effects as well.
Oh, that's a fair point. That is just like the music. They use original sound effects. Even the beaming technology, what they use for the transporters, feels and looks like the original series. And from what I heard, it was really expensive to do the transporters in the original series, but I wonder how expensive it was in this series, if it was a little bit cheaper. And so for this, Spock's curious about why Apollo's grown so old after a couple of years, and Kirk thinks it's all because of him. What he did, because he had to take him down, his power source in the original episode.
Destroyed the temple.
Here you hear Marina Sirtis' voice as the Enterprise computer, which I thought was fantastic as well.
Yes,
I noticed that. That's glorious.
That's right. Marina Sirtis plays the computer, And I know some people have some problems with her now because of the things she said about some people, but this was filmed before she said those horrible things. So if I saw this when it was first created, I would like it because Marina is basically Majel Barrett's fictional daughter in TNG. So that's nice because, of course, she's Deanna Troy and Majel Barrett played Loxana. So I think it works. It works for me.
I think one of my favorite tributes to the passing of both Jean and Majel was Marina Sirtis, and she felt very welcomed by Jean, or at least that's the story that was like in the opening press kit of Star Trek Next Generation season 1. So she sort of saw Jean as being a father figure, and then obviously Majel Barrett was her on-screen mother. And so when both of them passed away, she did sort of, as an actress, responded as if her parents had died. And I've been wading through, I'm getting to an age now where parents are passing away, and I luckily haven't had to suffer that. But it is interesting just to see that emotional connection with coworkers and people. Majel Barrett and Gene Roddenberry are the parents of Star Trek-ish. Certainly
Yeah,
Gene.
they are.
And so one of the most touching tributes is certainly Marina Sirtis. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous that she is the computer voice in this.
Yeah, Jim, what do you think about Marina being the computer voice?
Problem at all. It's a very nice voice.
Suzanne Eckstein says, note to self, don't do housework while listening to Jill. I tossed my phone into the garbage bag and she'll turn me into a garbage picker. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Suzanne.
Damn it, Suzanne. Really?
Bruce Lombardo
Dumpster diving.
says, congrats, Jill, on your upcoming 1.5K subs. Oh no, I'm not that close.
You're getting up there though. Last time I looked, you were at 1.2 and now you're at 1.3. Things are on the up.
Wait, did I go down? I was at 1.4.
No, you got up. You went up. Also, big shout out to Dan W, who says, hi, I'm drunk. That makes two of us.
Yes, hello. I did say hi to Dan. Yeah, we can't let an individual's idiocy wreck our appreciation of previous work. Yes, exactly. That's my point, for sure. And the Gorilla's Random Thought sends a membership chat for 4 months. Kapla. Automatic F, because Ethan Peck was a better Spock. And who's the Scotty wannabe? What gorilla? Gorilla's outrageous. Ethan Peck, I don't know. You know what? For me, Leonard Nimoy is the only Spock, except for, of course, the people who played young Spock. But
I think that's the first lesson that you taught me.
I did.
That about your thoughts on any other Star Trek. You were like, there is only one Kirk, there is only one Spock. And I agree with you. I agree with you in that. But however, like Vic is a pretty good Kirk. Todd Haberkorn, I would rather see Zachary Quinto. I hate to say it, but no, I don't want to see Ethan Peck.
In that
Todd Haberkorn is better than Ethan Peck.
And in that sense, the only way I accept other people playing these characters is if they're alternate dimensions, so they're alternate realities, rather.
Well, you said actors who played younger versions of Spock, right?
Yeah. If they played younger versions of Spock, then they are still Spock, like the little boy who played Spock in Yesteryear. I really love it. I especially love him because he played it the way they told him to play it, and his rehearsal play is what made it.
Apart from the cage, Ethan Peck does play a younger version of Spock.
Well, I guess I meant child. I meant the child Spock from the animated series, and I meant the Spock as we see him get older in Star Trek 3.
Okay.
And who plays the little boy Spock in Star Trek 2009?
I don't know.
He's pretty good.
I think
he plays it like the animated series, which is rad.
All right, so the new poll isn't quite working for me. It doesn't show the votes and won't close. Oh, I'm sorry, Tiger Stripes. But Jack Stafford says New Voyages has a very decent Spock. Who is Zachary Quinto's stunt double?
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Jacob Kogan plays the young child Spock in the 2009 film.
Okay, Gorilla, if there's only one Kirk and one Spock, I expect every episode to get... Well, you know what? I said at the beginning of the show that I'm actually not grading these because these are fan love letters, and so that's how I view them, and I don't want to really judge them all too much, except for scene by scene. Dan, your agonizer, please. No, Mr. Spock.
I wondered if, like the writing of, what's her name, Michelle Spracht, is it?
Yes.
That comes aboard as a new counselor. I wondered if that was like a tribute to the character of Troy in The Next Generation. Whether or not it is, I thought it was great. Like what adds to continuity is it foreshadows ship counselors in The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine.
I agree. I think it's really lovely. We know that Dr. McCoy does have a bit of a background in psychology, but actually having it be a very specific doctor. I've always thought there should be several different doctors on the Enterprise, and I do appreciate her addition. Her name, as her character name, you already said her actor's name, Michelle Specht. Her character name is Dr. Elsie. Is that right? Elsie McKenna. She's a new character. So.
Oh, yeah, McKenna. Yeah,
McKenna, and she's the new ship's counselor.
Now, I love Dr. McKenna, but my issue is does Nurse Chapel show up at all in this show?
Nobody's referred to as Nurse Chapel.
And that's the thing. I enjoy Dr. McKenna. I enjoy the introduction of the ship's counselor. It's something that this would be a fanfic retcon, is that it was something that was implemented during the 5-year mission of the original Enterprise. But this character, McKenna, does offset the necessity for Nurse Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate. Nurses. Well, no, I understand and I get it. And I enjoy Dr. McKenna. I do very much. But it's also at a sacrifice of Christine.
Yeah, I didn't see her in the credits, so I don't know that she shows up ever and continues, but I'll double check on that one later. But I don't think so. If I had to headcanon it, I'd say, you know how she becomes doctor by the time we get to the motion picture. She left the ship for a little while to get some training to be a doctor.
Starfleet Medical, of course.
There you go.
Well, yeah, and we also, sorry.
I don't remember seeing Chapel at all in this whole series.
Yeah, I googled Chapel in Star Trek Continued, and it came up with no results. So, presumably she's not even referred to.
Yeah, Bruce says she was transferred off. Thank you, Bruce.
That's fine. Starfleet really likes to make sure that there's only one redhead every ship.
And that's what I was thinking. There is a young blonde helping Dr. McCoy, but she doesn't have a name.
Well, and later on, we do get another helmsman, I believe, or helms. Helmsman. People call ladies sir, so helmsman. And there's a young blonde woman who is absolutely fantastic later on, assuming a position of strong female character, which I enjoy. I forget the character name, but it's not in this episode. So I'm sorry, spoilers.
Oh, Eugene Bird is feeling the way I felt yesterday. I was like, I feel like the golden age is over. God bless you guys and the TOS and anti-derivative Jill. That's how I felt yesterday. I was like, where's my original series episode to review? That's what I want to do. but I ran out of episodes, Eugene. I'm so sorry.
You know what I did
But-
yesterday?
What did you do?
I watched Where No Man Has Gone Before, but with the original special effects.
That's what I need to do, is because I first watched Star Trek with the original effects, and then I reviewed the remaster. So now I have to circle back and round out the whole experience by watching it with the original effects again.
I was so discombobulated on a Monday night and a Tuesday morning. I was like, oh, what am I going to watch? And it was like, you can watch Star Trek.
You can still
and I was
watch
like,
Star
good
Trek.
idea.
You don't have to stop watching Star Trek just because I'm not reviewing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I just went to my happy place.
Keep on watching Star Trek, no matter what
And
it
of
is.
course,
Just keep
I'll
watching
still
it.
talk about it on Friday, and obviously today because
Jill,
I think
can
Ken
I-
is cool.
Can
She's
you
a
go
good
back
addition.
one? Can you go back
Oh,
two?
okay. Two to this?
No. One more. No, one more. Not
Okay.
old man. Not Joe Biden. No, not
That's
Dr.
not-
Crusher.
Damn it, Scotty.
No, go to there he is. Jill, may I swear?
One.
Oh, what the frack?
Just one? Actually, you know what? Frack you, Todd Haberkorn.
Ooh.
I love you, Larry Nemechek.
Okay then.
He looks fine, I guess. He's just not as commanding. Like, maybe he's too short. Maybe he's too thin. Maybe his sideburns aren't pronounced enough. But I just, oh my. There's something about Todd Haberkorn, and I'm just like, why are you here?
I was thinking, like definitely in this shot, like his face does look thinner than Leonard Nimoy's.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of the thing. And I this is going to turn more into an appreciation of Leonard Nimoy than it is going to be an FU Todd Haberkorn. But there is something, like, in terms of the broadness of the shoulders, in terms of the height and the gravitas that Leonard Nimoy brought. It's just, again, I agree with Jill. There is only one Spock.
Well, okay,
and he wrote a
but
book that said, I am not.
Well, he said I am not Spock, but then he also wrote another book that said I am Spock. So
I only read that
with
one. I didn't read the first one where he said he wasn't, because I was like, spoilers. And then I read the second one, and I was like, this is better. Yeah.
Well, it's clear that he is Spock because throughout that book, he's talking to Spock, and it is just amazing. I wish he would have wrote more of his interactions with Spock. I treasure that book.
Yeah,
especially since he reads it himself.
Not to anger Tiger Stripes, but Dan, Jill, Jim.
Yo,
did you guys ever hear the debate between Spock and Q when it was actually Leonard Nimoy and John Delancey, and they did like a stage reading of the two characters meeting?
Yeah, it's called Alien Voices, I think.
What's it called?
Alien Voices.
Alien Voices. I feel like I did hear that, and it was amazing.
Absolutely delightful.
They read like the Time Machine and stuff, I think.
I think that it had something to do with the Guardian of Forever, but I could be mistaken.
Well, if we want to get back to the episode, though,
right.
McCoy's learned about an organ that
it's
Apollo
like his
has.
pituitary?
No, it's the organ that processes. Well, we ultimately learned that it processes the worshipping from mortals and turns it into energy. That's yeah. Well, so if mortals worship you, you get energy.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of energy.
The invention of this organ was much of a stretch or not?
Good question. I like that they tried to give a reasoning for why a scientific kind of backup for why these beings are treated as gods, even though, because that is a common Star Trek theme, is that you think they're a god, but they're really just an alien being of some sort. And so this gives more of a This gives more, an alien feel to something that was a little more fanciful before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Cool.
What do you think?
I think for that as well.
The more I look at Todd Haberkorn, I feel like I'm being mean. And so, good work, Todd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You kind of are. So,
I
yeah,
am
I do.
being mean.
But it is important to be honest too. If that's how you feel about his performance, then that's okay. But they talk a little bit about the realm. Also, Apollo talks about it, and I guess we just saw it be destroyed. It was supposed to be a place for them to retire. They were supposed to be able to have energy forever, and instead of having to be worshipped. But for whatever reason, it didn't work out. They don't really say how it was supposed to work, but just that it didn't, and that it turned it into and instead they were trapped. Instead, they were trapped there until we meet Apollo here, and he's the only survivor.
Is that a wig?
And who has a wig?
Apollo.
I don't know. Let's see.
Like in terms of him, Mr. Forrest, coming back to Star Trek after all these years, I'm just curious if that was like a rug or if that was his natural locks. It does look like a rug.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought basically he looks like one of the only characters who's not wearing a wig.
Well, and he's he's still fit. Like, I'm not knocking the man for aging, and I don't want it to be taken as such, but it's like, I'm pretty sure that guy wears a baseball hat everywhere he goes.
Probably does.
Well, Kirk is concerned that Apollo is going to try to get people to worship him again, and Apollo's like, no, I just want to chill in the sun now. I promise. I just want to go somewhere with some people.
But isn't that the entire ending of the first, Who Mourns for Adonais? Is maybe we're not meant to, collect laurel leaves and prance in the sun. And now he shows up and it's like, oh, okay, maybe he's okay.
Yes, maybe he's okay, but they do deal with it at least.
Ish.
Yeah.
Hey, Darius
Munchausen gave a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Darius. He says, well, wait, Jim wants to say it. Go ahead.
What does the god need with a starship?
What does
Warp 4
God need with the starship? All right, so
# Star Trek 5. Awesome.
Fortunately, of course, I am immune to its effect.
See, stop showing me Leonard Nimoy, and then you're going to subject me to Todd Haberkorn.
But I love Leonard Nimoy. So many of my clips are.
My congratulations, Captain. Dazzling display of logic.
Yeah, he's my favorite character, so it's hard for me to. Yeah, I'm never going to see anybody else.
Talking about the link between Continues and Star Trek 5: The Final Frontier, I thought to myself, watching this episode, what if they'd actually made it a story point in that film that that sort of entity like Apollo in this episode was dying. I thought, maybe that might have been a good addition, because perhaps it would have added a bit of a a time bomb sort of element to the story. So
did kind of think he was dying at first, but I guess then it turns out he wasn't.
It is so strange because in all of my original series rewatch, I am waiting to throw Q Continuum at any godlike character. That's all I want. It makes me happy.
Kirk didn't want to be worshipped. Apollo wants to be worshipped. I'm so sorry, Dan, if I said that wrong.
But I don't think Apollo is a Q. I don't think Apollo is a Q.
Don't either.
No. I don't think so.
Especially since he needs to have this organ in order for him to generate his energy. It's a
Is
very
it a
different
mouth
kind of thing.
organ?
It's a
Yeah,
it's a,
the
Not a
organ.
mouth organ.
it's like an internal organ, like a
Yeah, there's also like never like any like snapping of the fingers, flashes of light. You know.
Yeah, but like Trelane is a
Yeah.
cue. The Gorgon from The Children Shall Lead is a cue.
well, I
From
think Trelane is more of
little-
a
The little
Trelane
loading
is more of a-
logo from Day of the Dove is a remnant of the cue.
oh
God
the
from Star
loading
Trek
logo.
5 is a cue.
The Gorgon, oh my god, I don't like letting him be a Q because he's such a terrible character, but Trelane is definitely a proto Q.
Yeah, totes. Anyway, I'm sorry for interrupting with the Q continuum.
Well, it's vaguely
Interesting.
referential.
It's mildly interesting.
And Kirk just wants to make sure he doesn't take advantage. Apollo doesn't take advantage of people.
Oh, I forgot to. Sorry to derail again, but it's nice to see that Eric's is on Star Trek Continue.
Not this episode.
No, but I can see him.
Yeah, Eric's is always on every stream, and of course, the
Yeah.
reason I use Eric's here is I put watermarks so that Paramount CBS knows that I'm not claiming that I own any of these images, that I'm just using them for entertainment purposes, and that they qualify as fair use, I think. And it helps me not get copyright claims on my slides.
Dan W.
So-
My answer is Cisco. Moving on.
Oh, Wowzers just had emergency broadcast come on my phone. It seems the police caught a P word. Investigators underway. Okay, well, I hope they catch him. That's terrible, Suzanne. I mean,
I was
good
going
that
to
they
make a
caught
joke
him.
and say, should I leave this Arby's? Anyway.
Yeah, don't.
But
joke
I'm
like
not.
that.
I'm not a P word, so I'm not.
Yeah,
worried.
I know. So don't even joke about it.
Don't even joke about it. It's very bad.
Then I just realized.
This scene. Go ahead, Dan.
I just realized chronologically this is surely supposed to be after the animated series.
Yeah,
because of the holodeck.
Yeah, and well, also it leads up to the motion picture. As we said earlier.
Wait, are you saying what I think you're saying? In that they shouldn't have these cool. I really love these spacesuits, but you're saying, are you saying that they need to have the animated series belts that have the little light surrounding them to protect them?
Force field spacesuits.
Yeah, life support belts.
Yeah. If this was, what do you think?
You know what? I'm on board with what you're saying, and I appreciate it. I wish they had done that, but I am super jazzed to see the extra vehicular spacesuits.
Yeah,
like, this is crazy cool. Like, this is production value. It makes me feel like walking on the saucer section. This is rad.
Yeah, it's cool. I thought it was also like the film Star Trek First Contact where they do that, but sort of like the fact that there's a vignette that's like a reenactment. Well, initially it's a reenactment of the end of Turnabout Intruder, sort of like knocked my understanding of it. So I thought, oh, this must be set right after the original series, but it's not, because it's actually set after the animated series.
Yeah, I think those vignettes were just kind of for fun, just to proof of concept kind of things.
Yeah.
So, did they mention where Carolyn went?
Before that, though.
Oh, she died.
Right, Carolyn died, but also before. Okay, yeah, right. She does have to mention to Apollo that Carolyn Palamas.
Palamas.
She got transferred off, and she died trying to help some colony with an illness, and so she died in service doing that. And speaking of dying, we return to they're phasering off. Sulu and Simone are phasering stuff off of the whole that stuff from the realm that got everywhere. And so we don't, yeah. So, but for some reason their phasers go crazy and they can't control them.
Mm-hmm. The death of
I've had that.
The death of Lieutenant Palamas reminded me of the death of MacGyver's, prior to the Wrath of Khan, where it's just referred to.
Sure.
Right. We don't see it at all. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and no one ever asks what happened to Carol Marcus after Star Trek II. She's just gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bibi Besh was absolutely gorgeous. I thought that she was equal to Kirk. I loved Carol Marcus. And then in Star Trek 3, it's like, where'd she go? We don't know, and we'll never speak of it again. It's same as Gillian Taylor for after Star Trek 4. It's like, where did that charming young blonde go? I don't know. Around the galaxy, I suppose.
But there is a comic that talks about it, though.
I've seen it.
And the novels do talk about Carl Marcus.
Oh, what happens to Carol? Is she okay?
Oh, I can't remember. Sorry.
All right. No, it's no big deal. Pop quiz.
What's happened? I wondered, where they experience the build up of overpower in the phasers. Why is that?
They never find out. They suspect that it's
right.
Apollo, but Apollo's all weak and in bed, and he doesn't. I don't think Apollo gets any energy back until he goes to the rec room, and he gets some admiration, which feeds his energy.
Yeah.
So there's no explanation ever to why the phasers go bonkers.
Okay.
I don't know. That is a plot hole.
Because story. Which is rad. That's also the contrivances that happen throughout Star Trek Continues. It's but it's also kind of like third season Star Trek. This show, this web series is very much building upon the third season. It's not trying to best the first or second seasons of Star Trek. It's trying to build on the third season, and I think it succeeds. But whenever something silly happens, I'm just like, oh, I get you. It's cool.
As a result of that, we lost Simone, the actor from Battlestar.
Oh yeah. Did we see when Apollo 8 is shown?
And what's the question?
Did we see when Apollo 8 is shown?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Voyager 6. Jill, I think you're muted.
What's the question?
Did we see when Apollo 8 is shown? Kirk visits Apollo in sickbay. And
oh yeah, we're not there. I don't think we're there yet.
F you, Tom Haberkorn.
They're doing.
Larry Nemechek. Hey, Vic. It's such a prolific voice actor. I think that one of the things that Vic Mignogna has been sort of praised for in terms of his voice acting is in terms of the story and translation is that he can watch an animated reel and do the dub and actually please. But he can actually do the lip sync. He's very talented as a voice actor.
I think so too. But for this scene, I was thinking Scotty gets really upset in this scene. Is this the scene where he kind of has a he has kind of an outburst? Like because he's really thinking about
Scotty.
Carolyn.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what about Chekhov? I thought Chekhov was more into Palamas.
There's a few like scenes in this briefing room. I remember when the episode debuted, there was a few people commenting online, like they thought like the way that the ship is run, it's like it shouldn't be a democracy. Where Kirk here is like, casting votes and stuff like that at the end of the episode in the briefing room.
Yeah, that is a little strange, I feel, but I think that is maybe a combination of feeling respect for TOS and trying to bring a little TNG into it, maybe.
Well, and also don't forget part of Kirk's character is like in Star Trek 3, he says the word is no. I am therefore going anyway. Yeah. I think Kirk respects his crew, and I think he would put it up for a vote, and he would only respect that vote if it went the way he wanted.
Yeah, and well, I guess, he does respect what his crew has to say, but he's going to do the right thing, even if not everybody's in agreement. So a consensus is not required on this ship, especially as you say, Dan, it's not a democracy. I'll let you know when this becomes a democracy.
Exactly. Isn't that from the Corbomite maneuver when he starts talking to Bailey? Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Bailey. I will take your opinion into account once this becomes a democracy.
I did like this scene, one part where McCoy agrees with Spock, and everybody who's watching this knows that that's supposed to be a thing. That's supposed to be a big deal. And I don't know. I guess Scotty just still has a lot of feelings for Carolyn, even though they didn't become a thing after that episode.
Well, if anybody finds themselves in the Star Trek universe, what I'm going to say, especially to the ladies, is that if you're going to get into any sort of relationship, avoid Montgomery Scott, because bad things happen to you if you get romantically involved with Montgomery Scott.
Oh, right. The Christmas lights might attack you.
Yeah.
Or you might find yourself having to do a fan dance in the middle of the desert.
Or maybe some, Jack the Ripper alien is going to stab you in the gut 7 times. Although, no, Nichelle Nichols doing the fan dance was pretty smoking hot.
But of course, the original series had some of these conference room scenes, but it's more Kirk trying to assess the situation rather than collect a vote. So I do essentially agree with that.
Yeah, well, I was thinking back to like Khan and Space Seed and stuff. Like he doesn't cast a vote. Like, should we boot this guy off the ship? He just goes ahead and does it.
Exactly. And of course, I think the real idea here is that Kirk isn't sure, and so that's why he doesn't kick him off yet, is because he's not sure one way or another. But he knows he can't put him on a planet right now, because that can mess up that, if they end up worshiping him and causing some issues. Apollo's not happy about this. He's like, no, give me a world, it'll be fine.
No, I was reading that vehicle was the first manned spacecraft to go to the moon.
The Apollo 8? Yeah, right. Because there were previous Apollos that didn't quite make it to them. Well, yeah. Yeah, the Apollo missions made it to the moon.
Yeah, I've also seen it theorized that when man made it to the moon, it was just it was after the original series ended, and perhaps like if the original series had still been going when the moon landing was accomplished, perhaps like it would have perhaps inspired people to have continued the original series.
Wow. Well, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, right. So that happened after Star Trek was over. The landing happened. The landing happened in July 1969. So the moon landing was Apollo 11. Apollo 8, they just did an orbit around the moon.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they just saw it. But of course, Apollo is happy that the space program was named after him.
Yeah.
And oh, where did my chat go? I need to see what they're up to. Because every once in a while, I gotta say hi to Sentai Ranger Donnie. He's here now. He says I could say that Cisco, as a few toxic fans call it. Why would anybody call him Sicko? Oh man, no, weird.
Hey, Johnny, what's
I've
up?
never heard anybody call Cisco that. And Archer are among my few honorable mentions of overall Star Trek captains. And yeah. So that's yes. Thank you, Sentai Ranger Johnny. Glad you're here today. And Suzanne Eckstein has to go. I hope you have a great day, Suzanne. And she's going to rewatch. I do appreciate everybody who rewatches this or watches this for the first time on a rerun. Thank you, guys. There was a scene very much like this on Enterprise with them phasing off things off the hull. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Minefield.
Prinkle Walker. The Prime Directive only applies when it suits her. Oh, they're talking about Janeway. We don't want to get into Janeway and the Prime Directive. That could take up some time. The life support belts were exactly what the live-action Jason of Star Command, also by Filmation, the same company as TAS. Oh, I never watched Jason of Star Command. Thank you, the Tetrarch of Apathy. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Filmation recycled quite a lot of their animation, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, also great to see you, Jack Stafford. Apollo is on this episode, and they have the actor that played Apollo from Battlestar Galactica. And
oh yeah, that's good, Todd.
And they had the Apollo capsule in this episode. Cool. Mm-hmm. Palom's got around. And hello, James Caserta. I do have to say hello to James Caserta. At a time, here's crickets. I don't have any crickets. I only have a triple. Calvin L. Weir says Star Trek Continues is a very cool series. Hey, welcome, Calvin. And Larry says Apollo 8 had no lunar module. Yes, we landed on the moon with Apollo 11. It wasn't ready yet. James Caserta would bring a parachute. That's a good idea.
It's a long ways down.
But Kirk reminds him that they didn't see him as a god. They just saw him as someone. Well, a lot of space things are named after Greek gods and stuff. I don't know really what Kirk was trying to say. I guess just that during the Apollo missions, people weren't worshiping Greek mythology, and
But I thought it's cool that you hear us sing. I wasn't so fond of hearing Apollo sing. I didn't think he did as good a musical performance. But I thought it's cool that they have a chat about music as well.
I think so too, but I think it really works because everybody loves it, even though he wasn't that good, and that shows the power that he's starting to exert over them, even if he isn't really being that entertaining.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And also, I guess he has a lot of stories to tell, so that seems to really work on the crew. Because of course he's lived through a lot. And here's Vic Mignogna without a shirt. Larry says Apollo 10 had all the equipment to land, but only did the dress rehearsal down to a certain attitude. And one more thing. Somewhere around here, Scotty finds something in the systems that still, so more of this realm is causing issues, basically, on the ship. So in this scene, McKenna comes to Kirk's quarters, but of course he doesn't have a shirt. It kind of reminds me of something from TOS, but I can't remember what scene.
Kind of reminded me of a scene from Once Women.
Charlie X. Charlie X, Kirk didn't have a shirt on. He walked down the hallway and everything with no shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one.
And so she's new on the crew, so she wants to talk to Kirk. And that makes sense.
Yep, brand new.
Sort of reminded me of Once Women, because Kirk's in his quarters, sort of getting ready when a woman walks in.
Oh, well, there you go. Then that works for me.
I wish I had a beautiful red hair like that just walk into my room.
And so she believes that Apollo can be different. That not take advantage of him being a god just based on what she's seen. That anybody is capable of good and bad, but of course he has. But does he still have his powers? Is really the biggest question. And so we get that question answered pretty quickly.
Jill, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. What's your question?
So first things first. I wonder where Gunther went. Where did Gunther went? I want to find. This is an Apollo episode. I want to know, where is Houston? We have a problem.
Oh, that's in my
Just
opening
antiderivative Jill.
quotes.
Right.
Yes, I'll click it for you. It's right here.
Houston, we have a problem. We have a main bus B undervolt.
If I ever have technical difficulties, yes.
I thought it was interesting seeing the extras in this episode, because I think like the principal actors, they look more like you can actually picture them in the original series. Like to me, they look more convincingly 60s. But I think like when you see the extras, they look like really modern, and I think like more effort may have been, it would have been good perhaps if more effort had been made on trying to make them look more 60s. But I don't know if I'm alone in that.
Well, really, you don't think that they bring off the 60s aesthetic?
No, to me, they do look really modern.
You
but
know
I think
what?
it's really difficult to avoid.
I think I agree with you, Dan. I felt like, oh, this is cute. It looks like we're at a convention.
Yeah.
Well, but that's also something that I've been saying to you, Jill, while we were sort of reviewing this. I was like, what an adorable high school play.
In some ways, yeah, that does happen. I don't know. I didn't really think about it in terms of, do these look like modern people dressing up in original series uniforms, or do they look like people from the 60s dressing up?
Well,
and that is important.
So remember Trials and Tribulations, where O'Brien and Bashir meet that lovely gentleman, and he's like, what are you guys doing here? Scotty told me to repair this. And it's like, you are so 90s and so not a part of what we're doing. It's just, it takes you out of the verisimilitude of the situation, because you're like, yeah, no, you're totally 90s. And I do to a certain degree agree with Dan on this one, is that it's a bunch of people who are trying to look the way that the 60s looked, but not necessarily getting there 100%. But also my suspension of disbelief sort of allows it, as much as I allow that ridiculous wig.
Well, that's what happened here, is that Apollo was getting the crowd worked up and they're having a good time. So that worship organ started to work again, and I guess they were giving him enough attention that he's got.
Never ever say worship organ.
Maybe
that's what it is.
Okay, I have one of those.
Damn it, Scotty.
Oh my God.
I know, but you started it.
I didn't start anything. It was you.
Well, okay. The point is that he's now able to toss Kirk around, and I think it's kind of a cool little effect.
It looks great. It looks great. And that's the thing. That's why I sort of give this series such credit, is to make a limited budget homage to the original series. It is about direction and making sure that everything punches, making sure that everything it comes across in the same spirit as the original. And this specifically, with Kirk as portrayed by Vic, sort of hovering. And it's like, yeah, that looks pretty much how it would have looked in the original. And that's what gives this so much. Yeah, like it gives it sort of heart. It gives it an atmosphere of the original series.
Well, and I like it because they didn't take too long to get to answer the question. Does Apollo still have his powers? Here it is. Yes. Yes, Dan?
So I read like the Wikipedia article about this particular episode, and it's like I read like what critics had said about it, and they talked about like the aspect ratio is the same like as they had even of the original series. To me, like I watched Turnabout Intruder, the end of Turnabout Intruder, before then going on to Star Trek Continues to Vignettes and this episode. And I think like even the film stock looks like better. It looks like more colorful and stuff like that, because they've got like the equipment and stuff like nowadays, or when Star Trek Continues was made. Like with the extras, I guess it's difficult to effectively hide the changes, the real world changes. But obviously, like the efforts, the lengths that they've gone to that end, are really admirable anyway. So yeah.
I do agree with that. I need to go more into how they constructed all of that, because I am interested in how this was possible. I know so many people worked on it. And thank you, Scotty, for highlighting Snortopoopus Cuber. Hello, humans and other critters.
Poopus!
Howdy.
Weird thing is I can do scripts as well as music, believe it or not. Oh, James Caserta, that's great. Wow. Quite talented.
Dude, you're talented.
So, Larry says counselor, actress, and Mignogna were engaged at the time, but never married.
Yeah.
Well, in the modern age, and I hate to go blue, but I'm just saying, way to go, Vic and Michelle, for seeing each other's bikini areas.
So McKenna has to shoot Apollo with the phaser, and to help Kirk. And
Oh,
she
okay.
doesn't. I like. She does have a bit of emotion having to do that, and so it might. Is this like her first assignment?
I would say
Ever?
so. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how I feel seeing her shoot.
One of my least favorite things about modern Trek is people using two hands to fire a phaser. I don't think it's necessary. There is no recoil on a phaser, and so you can do it. It's like point and click. You aim, you pull the trigger, and then if you're not necessarily connecting, then move your hand, and then you will. Stun, kill, doesn't matter. You do not need two hands to fire a phaser. And one of the worst things about all of modern Trek, and this is included, is no, one hand, yo. It's a laser pointer. So I am very upset by that, but I am very happy with the lady who happens to be wielding the phaser, so I'll let it pass.
Talking about phasers, like one of the vignettes goes into like the introduction of a new version of the Type 2 phaser that's called Happy Birthday. Was it
Happy birthday, Scotty. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like watching that, and then the start of this episode where there's like the Doug Jaxer's character talks about the gun. I'm like what's going on? And Star Trek continues like totally obsessed with firearms. But it's not. So
Yeah. Well, no, that I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you.
See, maybe it's not a wig. He looks great.
But Apollo, he can't help himself. He's gonna collect worshippers if they decide to like him. So
same as me,
So it's like, yeah, he can't. Even if you want to change who you are, it's really difficult to do that for anybody, and especially someone who's got powers like this.
Is this going to be the same thing? Like Ricardo Montalban was like, no, it was my real chest, and then Michael Forrest is going to be like, no, I swear it was my real hair.
Well, that's a little redundant with Kirk and everything.
Well, I still think that William Shatner has the fullest head of hair that I could ever aspire to.
And so they decide they can't trust Apollo. They have to tie him up with the restraints.
He is
But
terrible.
Apollo, he reminds them, hey, I have this extra organ that you guys don't have, that channels the worshipping from mortals. So just cut it out. Just cut it out and destroy it, and then everything will be okay.
How do you guys feel about the models, the CGI models of the Enterprise?
It's great.
Like the exterior.
Looks great.
It doesn't even look like CGI to me. It looks really good.
I think it's a really good match for the remastered version of the original series.
Agreed.
I think it actually looks better than the remaster in terms of the ship. That the remaster, it looks is a little understandably more dated because it was made earlier. But I do love Michael Okuda. He did a wonderful job with the remaster, but I think it could use another update.
No. I have to dig my heels.
Okay. You're right. I know what you're gonna say. Deep Space Nine.
What am I gonna say?
Deep Space Nine needs a remaster first.
Yeah.
Then the turnabout intruder. Yeah. It does like a long panning shot involving the Enterprise. I thought that was really cool.
Well, okay. So all our yesterdays, when the Enterprise is going away from the star supernova, like I think, and even chronologically, if you go by star dates, all our yesterdays is the last episode of Star Trek, and I think that is the most beautiful ending.
Speaking of beautiful, they
I just
have
threw a bunch of
beautiful...
radishes and
You
said,
did.
understand me.
Okay. Yeah, no, but it was all our yesterdays is all right. But
it's better than Turnabout Intruder, yeah.
It's better than Turnabout Intruder, yes. Agreed.
I've just asked Larry whether Michael Forrest is wearing a wig for Star Trek Continues. He said sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So it must be both a mix of his real hair and the wig.
Oh, thank you, Larry.
Which is, yeah, that's rad though. And the thing is that he still has the gravitas to carry off the performances. Like, I don't want to undermine his performance in this episode. I think it's great.
Well, I don't either. I think this is just a whole lot of fans who really love Star Trek and they just really wanted more. And this was at a time where Star Trek wasn't on TV anymore, so they made their own, and I think it's great.
Chris Doohan playing with his dad's toys.
Yeah, and the Jeffries tube is great, really great here. It looks good. And so they're still working on getting that realm stuff off the ship.
Larry also said like he had like 3 or 4 different looks and ages. Uploaded. Yeah, because I read as well, like in the chronology of the show, there's only like 2 years between like this episode and the Enterprise's previous encounter with Apollo. So he's like artificially aged like by this time.
Yeah, and they equated the Earth years, and it was like he aged 40 years over 2 years.
Yeah. That's Marina Sirtis, her scene.
That's interesting to me because, like, as a viewer, and you just opened up a perception of this episode, is that I watch this show and I'm like, yeah, no, Michael Forrest, he's old, it's fine. We've recast Captain Kirk, but yeah, you're absolutely 100% correct in that this is 2 years after Who Mourns for Adonais. This would be jarring to the crew of the Enterprise, and it's like, why are you old, Apollo? And so that's fascinating. I never thought about it in those terms.
So Scotty says, nobody touch your station. I'm gonna do something. And so the first thing her does is touch her station.
Absolutely, I will not interfere.
And yeah, that looks very much like I think an effect from the original series, where when a shock or whatever would happen, like the characters often would be whitened out, like this one.
Yeah, it does. It definitely seems like an effect from the original show, and I guess you've had this moment before where you touched. You took something out of the oven and you touch it even though you know it's hot, and it's just kind of like that, except this time it's more fatal.
Damn it, that was hot. That's what I say.
Okay. That's why I'll often put the mitts I'll put the mitts pan to remind myself, don't touch it without this.
Mm-hmm. Shocking result.
And so because of that, Uhura is dying. Which
Bluey?
That is an amazing kind of, like, they really up the stakes for that part of the episode.
That's a stunt double. Go back one.
A stunt double.
Stunt double. Not the same. And also, when we're talking about recreations of original Star Trek, noticeable stunt doubles are par for the course.
Mm-hmm. And Jill, I wouldn't expect anything less than Captain Kirk carrying her directly to sickbay. Yes?
Is that back one? Is that Chapel?
It's not Chapel. She's not named.
Oh, okay. So it's like Carly.
And then
Unknown
if you go back another one, where you see the sick bay. Yeah. I always thought it was really cool, like the way that they did the lighting scheme for filming the original series, and they're using that again, like here, where it's just like a wall. There's like a light like covering that back wall. It's like
the blue light and the purple light. Yeah, it's just like the show, for sure. Actually, I wish one of my friends, pop culture curator, was here. He really has an eye for this kind of thing, and I would have liked to hear him tell me the differences, because he knows the set really well.
Can I'm going to do my best pop culture curator.
Yeah, go ahead and try.
And I'm going to be like, well, you'll notice that there isn't a mirror that was there from the deadly years, as the lieutenant said. What a stupid place to hang a mirror. So that's my pop culture curator impression.
Yeah, that actually wasn't bad. Oh, why don't I have that?
I miss you, Pop. I wish you were here.
I miss him too. I guess he was busy today.
Well, I did see Pop in the chat floating around.
Oh, he was. He's in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy. Okay, I'm gonna get through this scene, and I'll get back to the chat in just a little bit.
You're gonna see a bunch of swears being like, Scott did the worst impression of me ever.
I thought it was a good one. I hope it was okay, pop culture curator. I really appreciate you. Pop culture curator has been with my channel since the very beginning, and my very first live stream where we talked about DeForest Kelley, and the subsequent ones where we reviewed all of the Orville.
I've heard of it.
And so Apollo was watching her die, and he'll have none of that. He's got some energy left, so he's going to use it. And McCoy's like, oh, but you're going to need that energy to recover. And Apollo's not listening.
Well, can you tell me how this ends? Because I have to go.
You have to go?
Yeah.
You have to go right now?
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Oh my God. Gotta go. Well, subsequently, after he heals Uhura, he finds out he doesn't die, even though he used his energy, because apparently self-sacrifice was another way that he could have gained energy. That is apparently the selfless act of sacrifice could have given his race energy all this time, but nobody ever knew it, because I guess nobody before Apollo did this decided to help anybody. I don't know. That seems a little strange, but
yeah, that's why I'm leaving. Anyway, what a lovely recreation of the original series.
No, well, maybe they did help people before, but they just didn't correlate the helping with gaining energy. They just thought, oh, they're worshiping us and we're helping them and we're getting energy. So they didn't correlate any sacrifice with energy gained. They just thought it was always worshiping. And without the organ, they realized there's a different way to earn energy.
So does like Apollo die? Do they like shoot him into space or what?
Oh. No, Apollo doesn't die. He got energy from sacrifice, and he can continue to get energy from sacrificing his
so where does
abilities,
he go?
His talent. He goes to a planet and he helps people, and can pretty much live indefinitely just by being super nice to people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you get, the mouth organ to work.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he doesn't have the organ anymore. So he's still able to get energy without the worship organ. And without that organ, he won't be able to, like, he doesn't have to control people. He probably could if he wanted to, but Now he won't be forced to. That organ that he had kind of made him hunger for worship, and now that hunger will no longer be there without it.
So 8 out of 10. I would say that this episode is a faithful recreation of a third season episode of Star Trek. I think that Michael Forrest was delightful to return. And everyone except for Todd Haberkorn. I apologize, Todd Haberkorn. Everyone is great. And so, yeah, no, I think that this is needs more Erics, of course.
Well, it doesn't have Eric's because we have Chekhov, and it kind of it ends also. It also ends in kind of like a joke way, like TOS often did with McCoy and Spock having a moment. And so
yeah, so basically Chekhov leaves, it's replaced by Eric's, and then Chekhov suddenly comes back again.
Yes.
And Eric suddenly leaves.
Well, it's strange because I didn't think that Eric's would lose an arm wrestle. Anyway, I give this fan film an 8 out of 10 in terms of faithful recreation of what is this?
This is the
it's the epilogue. It's the epilogue where Apollo is helping people and he's getting life energy from that.
Oh, good.
And now and they colored his hair so he looks younger. So he's getting younger and he's gonna live forever.
So yeah, 8 out of 10. I think that this really captures the spirit of the original series, especially season 3. But yeah, I enjoyed this, and I followed through. I watched all of them. I'm going to drop in and out at whenever I can when we're talking about Star Trek Continues. But yeah, the only thing I don't like about this entire series, say it with me.
Well, I know you don't like Todd.
Say it.
Haberkorn.
That's it. Oh, my stars. I raise my fist to the sky and say Haberkorn.
But I think it's good. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see more. And
yeah,
thank you for going through it with me.
No, it's great. I'm sorry for crashing your party. I really broke up your shenanigan.
No, but, it was good because it was good for us to get through it. But we do have a few vignettes to look at, but we'll let you go before we get to those, and because I want to get final thoughts on this episode from everybody else. But since you have to leave, let's let you get out of here.
So, as usual, subscribe to Anti-Derivative Jill. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, tell your mom. Also, the Phantasmagorium Show. We're doing all things Fargo on Thursdays. And please, for the love of all things, subscribe to Cinema Gulp. Everyone loves him, and yet you don't know him. To know him is to love him.
To love him.
Oh, man.
To know him.
Also, Jim.
Yep.
And it's been such a pleasure to be able to talk Trek with you, Dan. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you.
I'll see you in the future.
Take care.
Take care.
Great. And so thank you, Scotty R37, for talking to us about this episode. Is there anything you wanted to add about this particular episode before we move on to the vignettes? Or any overall thoughts or any trivia or anything you didn't get to say?
Well, I was trying to say that Apollo on the planet is a different actor because it's totally different face, a lot younger looking, of course.
Well, I don't think it's a different actor, but
looks a lot different.
Yeah, I think as Joe said, like they digitally probably stuff. I did like that.
Interesting to see how they did that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like the ending. It seemed to me a little bit like I don't want to get religious here, but it seems like Apollo learns like the same sort of lesson, like it's the same sort of like end of the character, as it were, that Jesus, Jesus Christ does, where it's like a self-sacrifice.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Yeah, no, Star Trek tries to not talk about religion directly, but indirectly, this absolutely. Can't believe I didn't even see that. That's brilliant. Precisely what happened here, in terms of that he realizes he doesn't have to. The worship isn't important. That giving of yourself to others is what matters.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad message for Star Trek. I think that's good. Especially since they don't actually overtly say anything about religion. They're able to do it in a more disconnected way.
Or they
And
do
so-
it in much the same way as they did it in Humors for Admeus, to do with the worship of Apollo.
Mhm. And Edittime says, I wouldn't kick her out into the snow. So they're talking, of course, about the new counselor. McKenna. I'll remember her name.
If you kick her out in the snow, since she's so hot, she'll probably melt the snow down.
Oh, wow. Larry says, first mission, you meet Apollo. Rotten luck.
Then also Apollo would return after this, I guess.
Oh, he comes back again? What?
Or I guess like his hand does, because we see it then in the end credits of Star Trek Beyond.
Sentai Ranger Donnie says, Happy National Bugs Bunny Day. Did you guys know it was National Bugs Bunny Day?
Nope.
I love Looney Tunes.
I do know.
And Larry says, we got 3 years of a 5-year mission in the original series. Mignogna said this finishes the final 2 years of the 5-year mission. But and some of us like to interject the animated series in there. He's not getting enough worship juice. Oh no, I'm glad I didn't read that while Scotty was still here.
Jeez.
But see, Snortopoopas is more subtle about it, and so that's why I like Snortopoopas. Uhura was reaching for the pendant that Apollo gave her when she got zapped.
Nope.
Oh, is that why she got zapped on her console? I thought she was touching something on her console, but that's all it was. And so I guess she thought, as long as I don't touch a button, I'll be okay. But she was wrong. But Uhura, it conducts electricity. It definitely looked like some kind of metal. And James Caserta wishes he could have helped with the music on this, which is something we can look at. The music they do a really great job with it. They copied the original lighting best they could, says Larry. So that's because Greek gods never sacrificed themselves to help people, says Snortopoopas Keeper. Yeah, they organize people and use them and see what they do.
Even here, like when you're paused, showing a screen cap from the end credits, like they've gone to the effort of using like the same fonts from the original series and stuff. I also thought like the scene in the rec room where Apollo is like talking about like the story of Troy and stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty cool.
Where Achilles gets.
Oh, we see the shuttle bay, even though we haven't seen the shuttlecraft yet in this season, but we get a preview of that for what's to come. And after these clips, I show slides of the vignettes, which are the little 3 to 4 minute cute little videos. This one is the Turnabout Intruder one, which shows you the very end of the Turnabout Intruder episode. Pretty much word for word. They reenact the end scene, except this time. Go ahead.
I think this is the one that starts with the panning shot of the Enterprise. I thought it was really cool.
It did. It was really beautiful. Yeah. But it pretty much plays out like the episode. The only difference is when our crew go to the turbo lift, that we actually get to see what happens after that. And I was hoping they were going to say, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're Janice Lester and her boyfriend. They're going to go to a medical institution or something." And I kind of wanted more closure in that episode in terms of, no, they're not going to be okay. He can't just go take care of her. They just killed a bunch of people.
So, I personally, I thought the actors playing Dr. Janice Lester and Dr. Coleman didn't seem as authentic as their original series counterparts. I'd got somehow in the back of my mind that Doctors Lester and Coleman were husband and wife. I didn't realize that his name is different from hers. And you've described him as boyfriend. I don't know whether that's intentionally tongue in cheek. Like, do you think of them as being romantically involved or not?
Yeah, they were romantically involved because they were the only two people who survived, and they colluded with each other to get rid of everyone else. For some crazy reason, he was listening to everything she was saying in terms of her plan to take over Jim Kirk, which almost worked.
Okay,
except
so
for that she could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were an item, but I don't think that she really loved him. I think he really loved her. And that's the whole question. He was okay with her becoming Captain Kirk.
I liked how there was a reenactment and a newly written material, but I thought like the new stuff could have been more eventful. It was basically just
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a little more. I think it looked good. It looked interesting. Well, and this will be the next one we watch. All they add is Spock talks about emotion and what it does to people who succumb to it, like Janice did. And then they're just like, okay, let's move on. The Potemkin needs us now.
Yeah, which sort of reminded me of how the Potemkins like mentioned in the Next Generation stuff. It was originally like Riker served aboard the Potemkin. Then I looked back and figured out, well, it's also mentioned in Turnabout Intruder, and a different ship, the 23rd century version, not the 24th century version.
Right. So that's pretty much it. That's what they added. They just kind of ended the episode a little. They just wanted to make the episode end on the bridge. I think that was just the whole thing.
Very interesting. I never realized that Gabriel worked on this. I'm friends with them as well.
Oh man, you have so many cool friends.
Yeah, I told him I was going to be doing this before coming on here. He was interested in what was going to happen and stuff.
Well, I'm just exploring like anyone else. I'm just having fun. And this vignette is called "You've Got the Con," and this one is a wholly original one. Unlike the Turnabout Intruder, this isn't from the original series. It's completely original, and it has to do with the night shift. So Sulu is in command of the night shift, and he lets Chekhov try sitting in the captain's chair just to see if it's comfortable. And then Uhura tries it, reveling in what she would be able to do, what she should have been able to do, really, because she's, according to the writer's guide, she's fourth in command. So after Scotty, she should have been. If Scotty wasn't available, she should have been in command. But we didn't see that in the original series. We had to wait until the animated series to see her take the bridge.
And the Lorelei signal.
Yes. And I love the Lorelei signal. That's my favorite. Second favorite. My favorite, of course, is Yesteryear.
Cool. I don't know whether you've seen. I know some people may not be fond of Star Trek after a certain point, but I don't know whether you've seen, there was a series quite recently that was done on YouTube called Very Short Tracks. I thought both of these episodes very much had like a similar feel to those ones, even though those ones are animated.
Yeah, I kind of felt like this was a bit like Lower Decks, like, oh, we're just goofing off. The Very Short Treks, I would say, are not good. I do not like them. I think they are highly disrespectful and awful.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like them. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're right to mention that. So, but it did seem a little goofy, but Captain Kirk does enter, and I do like that everyone scrambles. It's kind of cute. I guess not much was going on the bridge, and he says he can't imagine a better female captain someday, and he encourages Sulu and Chekhov to command someday too. And of course, we do know that Sulu becomes captain. And his line is, "Your ships will have the finest captains in the fleet because I have the finest crew in the fleet." So it was kind of a comedy, kind of little vignette here.
So, do you know whether this is before or after the animated series?
I don't know. This particular, I don't know where this one is placed in all the grand scheme of things.
Okay. Because I thought on sort of frustrated me a bit because I thought it was supposed to be before the animated series. I do like the Lorelei signal. You see Uhura assume command for the first time in the real world in that episode. I thought, oh no, I think it's cool to have that. Like I wouldn't want to have another episode that shows her.
This looks like the first time that she's in the chair. So I think maybe that these vignettes are not really supposed to be part of the show. They're just like little fun asides. I'd like to just throw they're cute, but I kind of just want to put them aside as neat curiosities of
The costume
how
designer is the same company you mentioned before, Anavos.
Yes, Anovos. I remember seeing those at the convention when I went to the Star Trek convention, and yeah, those are expensive. So they didn't cheap out with this series. They went for the good stuff.
How do you feel about
How do I feel about what?
this one?
New
Oh, okay. They get new phasers, and Scotty gets to fawn over them. It's not clear if it's actually his birthday or new phasers, so it's practically Scotty's birthday. I think it's adorable. This is probably my favorite of the three.
He's happy. It
has a cute moment between Scotty and McCoy, where McCoy isn't too impressed. So McCoy has to. He's gonna go on the shooting range. I didn't know the Enterprise had a shooting range. I guess you can make any rec room whatever you want it to be.
Well, it's a fan film. You can put anything in the ship that you want. Plus,
there is a swimming pool. They never go to the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Or the bowling alley. Oh, I would love it if Star Trek continues go to. I haven't seen all these.
I've seen all of them. I've never seen any swimming pool or a bowling alley.
Oh well, shucks. Anyway.
No, I don't remember going to those.
I've seen the holodeck that one time that we just seen now, but I don't think I've seen it through the whole series. When this Star Trek Continues first came out, I was glued to YouTube when I kept up with the news and everything, and when they said they was going to release on certain days, I was there watching it.
You see, like the shooting range area, I remember, and you do stuff like that in Enterprise and Discovery and the next generation. So I guess it's consistent with the this point of the timeline.
Yeah, well, I grew up with the original series. Star Trek Discovery, as I said before, I've seen season 1 through 3, but 4 and 5 I still haven't seen yet.
Normally, I don't like to use Enterprise and say, "Oh, it happened on Enterprise, so it doesn't line up with TOS, and so it doesn't make sense." I don't like doing that. But since this was made after Enterprise was created, then you can use Enterprise in that way. So yeah, if there's a shooting range on Enterprise, then it's fine. But there's a shooting range now.
Yeah, because like if it happened in the original series, you're like, well, how are they supposed to know what's going to be produced in like 2000?
Exactly. That's why it's not fair to use Enterprise on TOS like that sometimes.
Yeah.
but in this case you can.
Yeah.
Edge of Time says volunteer for Starfleet. You too can roam the stars.
I do on my fan film. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Commodore Productions makes his own fan films.
Yep.
And that is really great. Edge of Time says, don't go changing. Right? Yeah, I couldn't if I wanted to. She's driven the chair. Snorpoopa says it's mutiny, accidental, forgiving, reasonable at its top. Oh. Hold on.
It is mutiny!
There.
Sure is.
They're speaking of Turnabout Intruder.
Oh.
There's Janice as Captain Kirk. And hail to Rod Thunderheart. The rec room is in the motion picture, says Larry.
Yes, it is. Nice big one, too.
Mm-hmm.
And also in Star Trek 2, they have one in there as well. The bottom half of the secondary hall with the blue lights, you get to see them down there, too.
Yep. And so that's the first episode of Star Trek Continues, Pilgrim of Eternity, and we also looked at the vignettes. So for my following podcasts, we're going to look at 2 episodes per show.
And I remembered like the end of the series is a 2-parter, so it probably would work.
That's precisely why. That's kind of why I did it, and also because the reason why I had only 1 episode for the original series is because there's a ton of information and stuff to go through, and so with this, we can examine a few of the production. I'm sure there's a lot of production stuff on this too.
Yeah,
but it'll be a. I think I can handle 2 at a time.
LDG, what's up?
Yeah, hello LDG. I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't wait to get to the next episodes because this one was the only one I've ever seen before. So all the other ones are going to be new to me. Cool. And apparently this series won a lot of awards. It won for makeup. For what? From the Acolyte Global Film Competition. Interesting. Makeup, directing, and cinematography.
What does the title mean to you? Why do you think it was chosen, the title Pilgrim of Eternity? What do you think the meaning behind it is?
The Pilgrim of Eternity. Well, because he was trying to live forever. And he was trying to find a pilgrim is essentially someone who leaves their home, tries to find somewhere else to settle. And they tried to do that with the realm, but that didn't work out. So now he has to live alone. So pilgrim instead of pilgrims because he's by himself. But is there more of a meaning that you know?
No, I just find it thought-provoking.
I think so too. I like it. Hey, new to chill. Hey, Larry. And what else did they win? They won the Independent Star Trek Fan Film Awards. Oh, Treklanta. Oh, jeez. Best Dramatic Presentation Long Form. Yeah, so this won a bunch of awards from different people, even the Telly Awards. I actually don't know what these awards are, but I'm so glad that Star Trek Continues won them.
I do wonder if it's meant as like a proclamation of this show is going to live forever, sort of thing.
Well, so far it has.
I know. Star Trek Continues.
Mhm.
At least for the next 5 weeks. Apollo could have found the Q. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, the Q can give anybody powers if they want to. That's the problem with the Q. Sentai Ranger Dotting says, same. More on those award shows are a search away. Yeah, for sure.
So next
But
week,
yeah, go ahead.
Next week we'll be talking about the Mirror episode.
Oh, that's Lolani. So we're gonna watch this episode. I'll play the
Lolani and
I'll play the preview for that now, and also whenever we close the show.
Mm-hmm.
Since you mentioned it.
Please don't send me back there. You have no idea what it's like.
When I'm done with you and your Starfleet, you'll be lucky to command a Gamma Scout.
I'm about to violate a direct order from Starfleet Command.
Good stuff.
Are we not discussing First them all as well? I thought we were going to discuss 2 episodes per week.
Then there's another episode too. And you're right, there are 2 episodes. And I don't have the preview for the next one.
Oh, all right, okay. No problem.
And so so I'll grab that for some other time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or I could play it now, because I do sort of have it. I just don't have it cut. So I'll bring it up.
Yep.
I'll bring it up now. So I have to open this.
I notice here it says the episode we're talking about won recognition from won award recognition.
Oh, you're right. It is going to be the Mirror episode. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll watch that now. Yep. If I can figure it out. All right. Okay, so stop my screen and share my full screen.
When I'm done with you and your Starfleet, you'll be lucky to command a Gamma Scout.
I'm about to violate a direct order from Starfleet Command.
What the devil's going on, Mr. Spock?
It appears you were temporarily interchanged with counterparts from a parallel universe.
Status report.
The android vessels have entered orbit, sir. They're charging weapons.
Lock onto their lead ship and fire.
Captain?
I said fire!
I am the captain's woman.
You are, aren't you?
Join me. Together we shall be the architects of our own future.
Our sister world opposes our desire to join the Federation. They will stop at nothing to prevent it.
Target acquired, Captain.
We're losing weapons, Locke.
Captain.
Fire faces. Why are you here? What do you want with the captain?
Humans bury feelings of heartbreak and loss. We lock them away.
What places do you think it is?
Intelligence.
I got a little mesmerized watching those. Those are really good. But I went past the episode that we're going to do. We're only going to do the fairest of them all and Lolani. Apologize for that.
So the trailer's next 2 weeks.
Yes. Yes, in 2 weeks we'll get to those other ones. He called the Enterprise a garbage. No. He called the Enterprise a garbage scow.
That's the same thing what the Klingons say.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely reminds you of that. I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
If you think it's a reference to the original series, it probably is.
It is. It is.
Mm-mm. So Lou Ferrigno is green again, says Larry. Larry. It never was.
Never watched Todd from the 80s.
You know what they say about green M&Ms? Wait, what? No, I actually don't. Rod
You
Thunder.
don't?
No, I don't. What did they say about green M&Ms?
Where's Scotty when you need him? They're supposed to make you horny.
Oh, really? I thought that was oysters.
Well, if you watch Super Troopers 2 and watch Farba take green M&Ms and swallow them, that's what he says.
Oh, okay. Super Troopers. Okay. I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Rod Thunderheart says, wow, Kirk did a dropkick? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hey, Rod. How are you doing today? And one movie that needs no repeat.
And if you do watch Star Trek tours and that, Vic will tell you exactly how they made certain episodes, especially that one with a drop kick. It's a very interesting one.
Yeah. Well, speaking of how they made this, before we go, since I have a couple of minutes, I want to look at how they made the music. So this is from the Star Trek Continues blog.
Cool.
And so they have, I've never read this. So this is jazz musician and composer Andy Barber grew up in New York during the golden age in Star Trek rerun history. In the 70s, one could actually see episodes 4 times a day running on various TV stations. Barber's passion for the themes of Star Trek composers Alexander Courage, Gerald Fried, George Dunning, Joseph Mullendore, and Fred Steiner inspired his music.
It's Gerald Fried.
Gerald Fried. I really love all of those guys, but I'm sorry for the mispronunciation. And now Barber himself is adding to the Star Trek music canon with original music composed for The White Iris, the 4th episode of Star Trek Continues. So that's where he comes in. So he's going to help with this. I think I actually have a video. I don't know how good this video is. I haven't watched it yet. Let's see. Because I just pulled a few videos from the Star Trek Continues. Yeah. Here's it. Oh. No, I guess I didn't grab that one. Darn. I saw it. I didn't get it. But one thing is, this was apparently created by Grant Imahara, and Scotty R37 wanted me to tell everybody that. That's all he wanted you to know, is he created that robot on this whatever this night show is. I'm not presenting it well because it's not my thing. But if anybody in the chat knows what it is, please let me know. Oh, okay. I know you can't see it. This is behind the scenes for this episode.
I only got 2 Orion intros last week. I'm losing my edge. What's the population of this planet? You ready? You ready? 26 impact power. You ready for camera?
Standing by.
For fun.
Red alert off. And one thing you have to do, check off.
Okay. Report Spock. Starfleet's communique was accurate. All 3 power stations in this system have been completely drained. Thank you. The power stations were anchored in this system with
It's just kind of cool to see how it's made a bit. And if you want to see the full thing, go to the Star Trek Continues YouTube page. And I think that does it for. Oh, there was one more thing. Grant did a tribute. Grant did a tribute to Grant Imahara. I don't know what this is like, but I was curious about it and appreciative that he did.
Not all of you have now heard about the tragic and heartbreaking passing of our dear Grant Imahara. On behalf of Star Trek Continues, the cast and the crew, I wanted to just record a little video sharing our enormous love and gratitude for Grant. He was something else. He was amazing. What a kind human being. One of the kindest, most generous human beings I've ever met. And anyone that worked on our show could tell you that as well. Anyone that's met him could tell you. I first met Grant when we were signing at Dragon Con together. And they asked Grant and myself and Carrie, his Mythbusters cohort, to judge the costume contest. So the 3 of us sat at the judges' table that night, cutting up and chatting and joking and getting to know each other. And a couple of years later, I saw him again at an event. Went up and said, "Hey, Grant, how are you?" And he said, "What are you working on now?" And I said, "Well, I'm trying to put together this Star Trek thing." And he's like, "Really?" And I showed him pictures of our sets being built. They were still under construction. And his eyes lit up. He's like, "Oh, I loved Sulu when I was a little boy. I loved Star Trek." And a light went off in my head. And I thought, oh my goodness, he would be wonderful. And he was, as you all know. And his kindness and his friendship and his positive mood all the time on set was a joy to everyone. I put this picture up. This picture was actually sitting on my desktop for years because it was one of the very first scenes we shot of Pilgrim of Eternity, our first episode. One of the very first things we shot in our sets. And that's Grant in his EVA costume. He had just been beamed back in from being out on the hull. How appropriate that that was on the desktop. When we were deciding we were going to put lights underneath the transporter pads so that light could come up from underneath, Grant said, "Hey, I've got all these big pieces of plexiglass from the robot wars. They were the plexiglass walls that kind of protected the arena." And he's like, "We could cut those up. They're like 1/2-inch thick plexiglass." And so he did. And I met him one day in LA, and we piled them in the back of my car, and then I sent them down to our studio. On behalf of everyone from Star Trek Continues, we want to send our deepest and profound love and prayers for God's peace and comfort in the midst of a loss like this, to all of Grant's family, friends all over. Grant, we love you dearly. You will be deeply missed and remembered for a long time to come. Thank you for sharing your light with all of us. God bless.
Pretty touching.
Yeah, if you want to know what kind of guy Vic is, that's the kind of memorial he gives and so that is I appreciate that he did that. It's not an easy thing to cut a video like that. And like Scotty R37 says, I adore Grant Imahara. Such a loss. He left us too soon. Yeah, I remember being shocked at that because he was so young.
Mm-hmm. It was tragic.
Yeah, I wish it didn't happen first. Because he was so awesome. But yeah, it was a shock, James Caserta. I was completely taken. Like, no, that can't be right.
Well, just like the other actor that got ran over by his own car, he died early.
Yeah, but he left us so much stuff to appreciate, and
Yes,
at least. And like Scotty says, he made Giraffe. That's the robot I just showed from that Giraffe Peterson. Okay. Is that Craig Ferguson? Is that the nighttime guy he's from? I'm just trying to remember. But yes, here's to Grant, says Donnie. And I think it's important. I think it was important to mention Grant in the first episode to make sure that is something that we do remember him. And we are going to enjoy his work over the next 10 episodes of this series. And
I think that was,
Donnie's, yes?
I think that was a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the second to last host of CBS, the Late Late Show, says Donnie. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. To Grant. And this is something that Donnie usually says. More phenomenal. Because Donnie is a big Power Rangers fan. And so there you go. Jill almost died just last month. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I was in a car accident, and if physics had happened a different way, yeah, I wouldn't be here. There was a pole that fell, and it just happened to not fall on me. So that was I'm glad about that.
I was in a car accident as well. Well,
Yeah.
I've been in a couple. A minibus that was in as a kid crashed onto its roof. It was driving along an icy road, and then later in life, on the very last day of my school, when I was hurrying to an optician's appointment, I got run down by a car.
Oh my God, were you walking?
Yeah, I was like racing again. Racing across a pedestrian crossing on the way to
Oh
the.
my God, yeah. I'm so sorry. That is more terrifying because you're just a human facing a 2-ton vehicle or so.
Yeah, gave me a jolt, and like I was actually like, these things that you often become I don't know how you'd say it, but just the shock of realizing that like these boxes of metal can actually do damage to people and stuff.
Big time.
Definitely. They're lethal if you come into contact with them. They're very helpful in getting us place to place in a timely manner, but there is a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Big risk. I was on the fire department for 9 years, and I've seen a lot of accidents.
Yeah, and in this case, someone fell asleep and ran over the median and smashed into me before I could evade. Yeah, but that's a thing to remember. If you do get into an accident like I did and you're a little bit afraid of driving, that the one thing to remember is that most people don't really want to hit you in their metal death boxes.
Now, Jill, is it really true that you do your own stunts?
Well, in that case, it was. I mean, if I could have a stunt person, but I think no, I
There you
do
go.
my own stunts. Yes, I do pick up my own children from school. Speaking of which, I got to go do that now. I've got to go and
Yeah,
pick up my
yeah.
children from school now.
Gotta go, gotta
And
go,
so,
gotta go.
and so we're gonna wrap this up, but I
Really
want
enjoyed
to.
the discussion. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any final words you want to say about the episode, or anything you want to add before we head out?
I've really
Anything
enjoyed.
you,
Yeah, sorry.
oh, and also anything you want to promote in addition to that.
Well, thank you. And thanks for having me. I've really enjoyed this first discussion about Star Trek Continues and watching the episodes themselves. Or I should say rewatching them, because I did watch them when they came out, but it was great to rewatch them. And I look forward to the discussions about Star Trek continuing. If you're interested in finding links and stuff where I am, you can go to www.danleckie, that's LECKIE, his last name, .com, and there you'll find my link tree. That's got all the links posted in it. And I would definitely like to thank you, Jill, for hosting this discussion, and for Admiral Shepard for taking part in it. And it's been a pleasure to speak with you both, and a pleasure
thank
to be
you.
on the channel. And yeah, thanks, and take care. And I hope everyone has a good week until the next discussion. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I got your link. I put it in the chat. And so people can check out your link tree anytime they want. And thank you for sharing that with us, because we do want to know what you're up to. And also, Jim's Landscape just hit 5,000 subscribers, and we're all very proud of him. And so, but if you're not subscribed, he's got his fan films and
she faded out.
And also, Jim, do you have any
Yep,
final
I love
words,
the-
or do you want to promote anything?
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed this episode. Of course, I'll give it a big fat A, just like the original series. I mean, we get to see Apollo again. We get to see him beam in, and he goes out on the planet, and he helps out people, and he got like younger doing that there. And we've seen new characters coming up on the ship and everything. So it was a great episode. I really liked it a lot. And as I always say, keep on watching Commodore Productions. You never know what you're going to see. And I'm trying to get Repair 4 and 5 done, but with me mowing lawns, I'm running into a little trouble because I'm always busy now. So it's going to take some time to get these fan films out. If I had more people to help me, I'd get more stuff done. So that's about it. And thank you for the invite there, Jill.
You're welcome. I hope you do find more people to help you out with that. And
Yeah.
there's Dan Leckie's link tree.
Oh, cool.
And Scotty R37 says, I want to hug Todd. I'm being so bad to Todd. You're okay. You're just giving an honest opinion, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I do feel like that too a little bit. It's like I do want to be considerate to the people who created this, and I do appreciate that it exists.
Yep.
James Caserta says, I'm old enough to remember when David Letterman walked out on stage in his bare feet with the club. What? I definitely don't remember that. Don't forget to leave a comment, says Franco Walker, after the stream, as it helps the channel grow. Yes, absolutely. And with that, we'll see you guys next time for Lolani and the fairest of them all. And so I think I'll play the video since...
Please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please do. I'll play the video for it since it has both of the teaser reels that I need. I'll remember next time to cut 2 of them.
Everybody take care.
don't send me back there. You have no idea what
When I'm done with you and your Starfleet, you'll be lucky to command a Gamma Scout.
I'm about to violate a direct order from Starfleet Command.
What the devil's going on, Mr. Spock?
It appears you were temporarily interchanged with counterparts from a parallel universe.
Status report.
Android vessels have entered orbit, sir. They're charging weapons.
Lock onto their lead ship and fire.
Captain?
I said fire!
I am the captain's woman.
You are, aren't you?
Join me. Together we shall be the architects of our own future.
Am I late?
I'm just playing the closing videos, Scotty.
Okay, keep going. Don't mind me.
I just played the previews for the next 2 episodes we're going to review, which will be Lolani and Fairest of Them All, which is going to be the Mirror Mirror episode of Star Trek Continues, which will be, well, we'll discuss both of them next Tuesday.
Delightful.
And yeah, and so see you guys later. Bye.
Take care.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
Learn all that is learnable.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
See you around the galaxy.